Tell me if you're in the building, Mr. Benjamin. Ooh. Why is it you can hear me now? Can you hear me now? Boy, you do hear me, man? C'est juste ça, you can marry me, movie. They tied me bad. I do hear you, you know, boss. I not on mute. I do hear you. Let me see if I can work on some other ways of connecting with Mr. Benjamin.
All right.
Roy,
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Good.
All right. There's a little glitch in the system and we have to take care of it there.
All right, all right.
Yeah, but I just reached on the playing field there. Cricket about to start and thing.
All right. But for some reason, I just wasn't hearing you, man. So I said, my brother, how is everything? How is health? How is everything? Mr. Benji? But anyway, people, anyway, Mr. Benji will jump back when he can. I just want to say, blessed evening to everybody. You don't know. There's at home, there's at abroad. There's that trying their best to make it better for us in Dominica. You don't know. Health and strength to all. Pleasant good evening. My people, what's happening on the ground? What's happening on the ground? Another successful or another failed attempt? I would have to say another successful failure on the fire brigade because lack of resources. Third attempt on burning down the library. I don't know how many attempts it taken to burn down a library. Third attempt to burn down the library. And that one was successful. Deliberately successful, I might add. It took the fire brigade 10 minutes to get on the scene. 10 minutes to get on the scene, people. 10 minutes. And it took them over 50 minutes to get water in their hose, running towards the fire. How is that possible in this day and age? And for me, that's not the worst part. The worst part of that whole evening was the fire hydrant outside of the Dominica water sewage office is dysfunctional. It's not working. It's not working. How can you have a fire hydrant outside of the main place of water and it not working? This is the company that trying to sell water to our household, people. This is the company that trying to sell water to our country, to make sure everywhere is hydrated and everywhere is capable of functioning. And you're telling me that the one fire hydrant outside of the office not working? The one fire hydrant outside of the 7-Eleven next to the petrol station not working? The fire hydrant next to the traffic department, where all our traffic documents are stored, isn't working? The fire hydrant next to the $1 million mansion that was built for the president to just sit down that get mold and termites in less than 2 years that the prime minister could not live in, are not working? And somebody trying to make me believe that that was by accident and not by choice. So after 2 attempts on trying to burn the library, unsuccessful because the firefighters out the firefighters came on time and put out the fire. The third attempt, they couldn't put it out because they had no water. Hmm. We have a man in Dominica called, better known as Blessings. He tell you where there is a sequence of events, coincidence is absent. How can we have that 3 attempts and you're telling me that we don't know we have to have water on standby? And at the minute we got the water on standby, the who's flooding Votiong Hotel, losing is madness. And make it worse, the talk, the talk on the island is the fire service mobile department in the airport is non-functional. Our people. Where do we go from there? But anyway, just want to say good evening to everyone. Just a little thing to reflect on, man. Just a couple of things to reflect on, like where we're making progress and where is progress necessary and what do we call development and where does development take us? In what direction do we develop? Because something is terribly and horribly wrong with us as a people, as a society, something is wrong with us. And I'm saying us because I believe sometimes I could do more. But the question is, do more to what cause? Like, where is that more that I do and where is it going to impact? Because I try my best to do my best when I can do my best. For example, school children say that the chairwoman of the Delices village council has resigned. I haven't received that memo. I heard it's public knowledge. I haven't received that memo, but I would like to know if it's true. Somebody that know that. Give me a thumbs up. For example, give me a thumbs up. The school children, the school children have saying that the chairwoman of the Delices village council has resigned effectively. If anybody out there know that, let me know because I looking to find out. I looking to find out. This is one of the times I feel I could have done my best and I did my best. I intervened and I told her the council is no place for her. Yeah. The council will literally minimize the impact on the community. Some people laugh, some people say okay, some people say you're wrong, some people say you're right. And she wasn't even going for chairmanship at the time. No, Janet, let us not give up on Dominica. Let's not give oh sorry. You give up on Dominicans, I agree. We can give up on Dominicans, but we can't give up on Dominica because at the end of the day we cannot want change. We cannot want change. Change is a thing that it have to start with us. Michael Jackson tell us that from way back in the days. Change start with the man in the mirror. See how he came from black to white? He wanted change and he got change. Every time he looked in the mirror, he didn't want to see that little black boy with a big nose. So he made that song Change Start with the man in the mirror and he did change. So we cannot give up on Dominica, but we can give up on the Dominicans. You know the laissez-faire Dominicans? The Dominicans that just don't want to lift a spoon. Because why? They're not willing to sacrifice a little bit today in order to get more tomorrow. But the more you wait, the more you sacrifice. The more you wait, the more you will have to sacrifice. The Dailies and Petit Savant community put their Saturdays and Sundays together and clear more than 1,000 feet of road. Just clean it. Let's go more than 2,000 feet of road. Clean it nicely. Make it accessible for vehicles to the point where the government decided they need to come and give some assistance and get some attention from that piece of work that the community of Delices and Petit Savant did. And came with their cameras and their crews and their supporters and say, you know what? We're going to join in. The people has done something tremendous. The people are amazing. The people has done it. And they've done it without government intervention, and that is what we are looking for. And da, 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 da. And they gave us the whole song and dance. And that this wasn't allocated for in their budget, but without speaking, they're going to have to reallocate some funds and make sure things come into place. And what happened when the cameras turned? They turned and they never came back. They never turned back. So I call in on Mike, Kate, and I call in on Joan. I call in on who else was there? Tony. I call in on Kent Edwards. You see all of that was up there. Please, somebody remind them now. Remind them that they were there and they said those words. And that the people are waiting. Before before the government come into power, mapping at a program saying our cameras are still watching. Our cameras are watching. And when they brought an issue to light, the cameras would keep watching until that issue was resolved. And what happened? Boom! The cameras was watching too much. They shut the cameras down. And that's what we need. We need somebody to remind these people of their spoken words. Because from since I go in school back in the days, they tell you a few things that cannot be taken back. Spare the arrow spoken words. And since the government in power, they have never let us down with their spoken words. I don't know if they are poets or what they are, but we need answers. We need help. We need redirection. And I can't do it as an individual. Brent can't do it as an individual. Janet can't do it as an individual. Somebody put themselves forward to know. Let us make something happen. Let us light a match. Let us set fire to the fuel and let us make something happen, man. Make it burn like Osha. Bro, 20 years, 20 years, 22 years, 23 years of one government. 23 years of one government in power. They had to change every single health center. They had to rebuild almost every single health center in the country. 20 years they had to do all that in, and all the people just thinking like it's just coincidence. For you to have to build every health center in, we have 21 constituencies. Every constituency have at least a health center or health department, if not two. The southeast Delices to La Plaine. We had three. We had one in La Plaine, one in Whitaker, one in Delices. Rivière Syriac had one. Grand Fond had one. Lack of maintenance, neglect, abandonment, termite infestation. And all of a sudden, we doing development because we building new hospitals and new structures and new buildings. Most of our structures were sound. The only one they didn't have to mess around with it, the one in Whitaker still the building still sound. The one in there is the foundation and the structure is still sound. It's just the roof. The one in La Plaine, oh, tremendous building built by Mr. Etienne, GU Etienne. That's where we got all our skilled workers from, like Rainbow Construction and all them, man. Edo for this. Those buildings were solid buildings, but we just neglect them and let them fade away. Why do we have a country sending people to college, secondary school, but we haven't got a public library? Why don't we have a public library? What is the sole purpose of not letting us have a public library? How can we keep up with the rest of the world or the rest of the Caribbean when it comes to studying and research? And we do have a research center. Why don't we have a research center? Why don't we have a library? Why are we building houses for all them Malvewa, all these police officers and teachers and nurses and doctors? Why are we building houses for them? These people have been earning salaries for more than 10, 15 years. The banks know them. The banks know their financial status. The banks know what they're capable of. Why aren't we investing that money in a public library? Why aren't we investing in a research center where the average child can just go and sit down on a computer and show their school ID and get access to a computer and do their research, do their homework? You all make it sound like people are asking for the impossible. The entire Caribbean has assisted the entire population financially through that coronavirus, through that pandemic, except, except for the government of Dominica. Mr. Benji, can you hear me? Bro, for some reason, for some mad reason, I just do hearing you though. Bro, for some reason, for some mad reason, I just do hearing you though. Why does it look like it's by accident we don't have these facilities? I may not be the most intelligent person out there, but I have to add at the end of the day. I know a lot of people are smarter than me that do they say nothing. I don't know if it's by the end of the day if this education make them stupid. Bro, we all were good. We all were good. You could walk up and down in the entire community and you knew who was who. You knew the ice pop lady. You knew the peppermint lady. You know the lady that was selling the Logan. You know the lady that was selling the bread nuts. And all these people. Now you're back.
All right.
You go back off again. Your volume go down again. You might have COVID, man, Brent. Your voice gone again, bro. Your voice gone. That was a community we had. Every community had their group of people, grease in the wheel and oil in the pan. You could walk into any shop at any given time and just tell a shopkeeper, my mother say, my father say, and that was it. Once you start your conversation with my mother say, you stretch your hands over the counter and you get served and you're gone. Because at the end of the day, that person know when mommy come out in the garden or daddy come out in the garden, or at the end of the day, Friday, they come and they pay their bills. Those days, the people are scared to give credit because people don't know where it's coming out. People don't know where the next end meets. People don't know when it's Monday and when it's Friday. Because why everybody feeling the squeeze, things tight, tight, tight. In 1998, when Hunter told Caldi joking, he was asking where they getting money to pay salaries where they was getting money to pay all them advisors that just sit down eating taxpayers' dollars. All of a sudden, Hunter, blind Hunter, was seeing it have more advisors today than yesterday, and not as half as much as tomorrow. Every day, every day, every day, growing more and more and more and more. In the past 20 years, 15 to 20 years, not too many people buy a brand new vehicle. Now, if you look around, everybody 20 years ago before, that other vehicle was a brand new vehicle. Why is that? People were making money. People were making money, and everything was better. Everybody was living within their means. It's not a before wasn't time of make believe. It wasn't time of make believe. Because everybody was living within their means and everybody was flexing and everything was alright. We have a daily spirit servant road there to bring economy back to the southeast and to the south and to the Spirit Savannah and Bakatel and First Asia people, to those fishing communities, so these people can eat some fig and dashing with their fish or with their chicken because that they taking their money and buy. And for some reason we just don't care whether or not these people live or die, whether they eat or they do it. Because why? Some of us eating and we good. Why are we so wicked? Why are we so wicked that we have the tendency to just leave the people that are worse off than us in the situation they're in and say, well, that have nothing to do with me. You see them man there, you see when they talk in their politics and they do get nothing, then they come in and cry for me. It's not supposed to be so, my people. Not supposed to be so. Only in the Caribbean we end citizens going to government people home, ministers home. Only in them backward countries people come in and knock parliament door, come into a government minister home or a government worker home. That's my good life. You see why eating bakes and drinking beer. Just just another Friday in Dominica, Saturday for me in Dominica. Wherever I go, whenever I go, one thing I must take with me is the skills, the ability to survive, and the level of confidence that my grandmother Mardo Magdalene James placed in my head. You see that level of confidence there? I take in anything, anybody, at any time. I'm not an ignorant person. I'm not a violent person. My confidence might make me seem ignorant. I might seem arrogant because of my little bit of ignorance, but my ignorance can never make me feel like I poor. Nah, bro. I'm skilled, I'm talented, I'm full of energy, I'm full of life, and I will survive anywhere at any given time. I don't need no one to hold my hands. My energy speaks for itself. I do what I want. Just, just look at me. If my dirty bed on my face, my dirty locks on my head, and I am yet to be contested as one of the happiest people I know in the United Kingdom. Me, I am yet to be contested in my circle, in the people I know. I know for sure I'm one of the happiest people in the world. And I know that knowing that my grandmother on either side isn't well, probably my dad's not well, and all the other shit that going on with the people in my family. But I know the liquor that I do, the liquor that I do, enough to keep everybody stable for a little bit. Things might be rocky and bumpy, and but I doing what I have to do to make it work for myself and all of them. And that is my mission. I will accept help, but majority of the times I will not ask for help because I've never reached in that position where I need the help. But I'm willing and able to do what I have to do. 100% willing and able to what I have to do with the amount of skills I accumulate in Dominica, my attitude towards work, and my confidence in my head. So God is my witness, I can't make it, so it have to be. When I make £1, I look at it as $3 that have to divide in three. Lucita look yours, Justo Madam look yours, and that is Justo one to still share among the Madam and Lucita and Justo again. So nobody would have no question to ask me. When you see Western Union send me my text message saying your money that you have sent to the Eastern Caribbean, Dominica has been collected, I don't need nobody to call me and say just I get it. I don't need nobody to call me and say black boy pick it up. I don't need nobody to call me and say my boy, the thing you sent for me I get it. I don't need nobody to tell me that. Because Western Union and MoneyGram have to message me and tell me your package has been collected. And that is why I out there. Me? I would rather 10 times, 100 times be Dominica. But who does that serve? Me being in Dominica, me in Dominica in the same struggle, in the same misery. Who does that serve? The politicians. Just another person looking ignorant and acting up on the street and making noise with them, and they don't care. So I'd rather be where I am and delicate my Saturday evenings to talking about what I can see from a bird's eye view. And I know if every week £100 go down to Dominica, I know every week that is $300 more towards my family development and my family betterment. And that is how I look at it, and that is how I do it. And that is not a matter of question whether or not it's just conversation for Facebook or whether or not it's reality. That doesn't matter to me. Anybody' opinion on what I'm saying doesn't really matter at the end of the day. because the facts are stubborn things. The facts are the facts. Anybody that close to me, that knows somebody that close to me, can tell you, you know what? I know just thought there. I know he there. I know he doing what he have to do, and I know he reaching out where he have to reach out. Because if you're close to me, you feel it already. If you're close to me, you know it already. And if everybody in every family that live challenge themselves with that mission, I do telling you, send nothing for nobody, that just sit down there doing call. Nobody that just sit down there deciding, boy, things are rough and nothing to working, I do doing nothing. I do telling you them there. But it's your parents and your grandparents where that just have to make it to make sure the house stay open and the lights stay on and cool by to take the house. You see them there? Please do what you have to do to help them. By all means. Just decide, you know what, this weekend I do buy in a box of beers, no? Or I do buy in KFC and I do buy in this. This weekend there, if I would have spent $40, I just go and send that $40 there for my uncle or my auntie or my granny. And trust me, the joy in which they let off when they receive it, a case of beer cannot give you that. The love they will give you when they receive it, McDonald's, Nando's, KFC can never give you that. Everybody who know best do best. Don't try to be perfect. The imperfection might just be the thing that working for you. I like my beard, I like my hair, and I like when somebody look, they say, okay, you know what? That boy either know what he doing, or he come to do what he come to do and nothing else. I do come in at your home to flirt and talk to you. I do come in there to have a cup of tea. I do come in there to relax and look good and have a good time. No, I come there to do a job. Just point to me where I need to go, tell me what I need to do, and I'll let you know when I leave. And that is it. We good. Pay me, have a nice day. Call me when you need me again. I may not look presentable for every job I go on, but I'm capable of doing every job I go on. I ain't taking job to know what I can do it, and you know how much I do doing tiling, plastering, rendering, decorating. Okay, let's just crash that. Only thing I'm not doing is electricals and plumbing. I'm doing it all, and that is why I can choose to not have work, but I can never reach out for work and not have work because my limits are beyond the sky. My limits are beyond the views of the sky based on what I'm capable of doing and what I'm willing to do. My pride, my pride is in my ability to do what I can. Respect, I have that. I'm not saying I will not tell someone hold a this and fuck off with a smile on my face. I will tell you that with a smile on my face. So don't think I'm respectful to the point where you can walk upon me like a rock or a floor mat. That is not me. And I'm saying all that to say that all that I am is Dominica. All that I know is Dominica. I may have picked up a few things in the UK, but every part of me is Dominica. And without that Dominican in me, I would not be there. So, what is it that's stopping the development of the youths? in the country. I work in youth skill for $10 a day. EC. $10 EC a day. Tell the entire youth center in Carib. Went to Marigot. Tell the entire St. Andrews High School up in Marigot. Went to Cassie Bruce. Tell that entire youth center for $10 a day. To do what? To learn the skill. To learn the skill. That was all it was. Just to learn the skill. Now, if I come at your home and put tiles for you for £20, for £16 or £10 a square meter, that is a joke. If I come to work for you for less than £100 a day, that is a joke. It's because I just probably even like you too much. And now that we just passed Hurricane Maria, that put us on a level where we needed to skill and educate every young person on the island. Right now, Dominica should be flooding, flooding. We should have an abundance of skilled labor force, an abundance of skilled labor force based on the impact of the hurricane, based on the amount of relief supplies we got when it comes to materials and building materials, and based on the amount of work that we had to do. You're just supposed to give a know-how constructor 3 young people per project and go train them boys 5 months, 5 months, 12 months on a house, rebuilding the roof. That team, all they doing is roofing. That team, all they doing is building up framework. That team, all they doing is decorating. That team, all they doing is plumbing. Bro, where is the brain that driving our leaders and our politicians? Where is the energy that driving our leaders and our politicians? So you're telling me at this time of age, at this time of day, I can go down to Dominica, the Commonwealth of Dominica, and look at a pastor in a church and tell him to pray for me. You're telling me I can go down to Dominica in the situation Dominica in there, look at a priest in a church and tell him give me communion. No, they're making me worse than them. Because how can you be a shepherd leading a flock where there are wolves in the grass and you're not telling the flock that there's wolf in the grass? As the shepherd, you're supposed to tread through the grass to make sure that the grass is safe so that your flock doesn't get carried astray. And that is why a lot of our people suffering. Because a fool will die first in the abundance of water. Anybody that's stupid, no matter how much water it have around them, they'll die thirsty. Because some people never learn to put a black plastic over some seawater and put a stone in the middle of the water and put a glass in the middle of the seawater and put a stone on top the black plastic, so it can sink. So when the water evaporate and it hit the black plastic, it condense and it go back in the glass and they get fresh drinking water. Some of them never learn that. All they telling you is seawater alone that water salty, you can't drink it. You thirsty, yes. But drink some water and always seawater it's salty. Always dirty water, you cannot drink it. But after the hurricane, I said to my mom, if I have to carry 1 spoon of water or 1 bucket of water to bring at home, I burst in all containers. because we had a well behind our house. They take the water to go and test. The people say the water not good to drink. But every day they're showing us children in Africa drinking dirty water. We are cow peeing and they're showing you the children on that drinking it. But they're still asking you to donate £2 a week to save Lake Adube. So if it do killing them, you think my water that by behind my house there, it go and kill me? No, sometimes it's a risk we have to take. We have to take the risk, people. Sometimes we just have to. Because if we don't take it, the question is, where do we go from there and how do we know what the rewards would be? You have pastors in church preaching about Pharaoh and their wicked ways, preaching about all the corrupt Pilate and them in Babylon. But they're not talking about the present administration, the present governance of the country they're in, but then to tell you how it was in Rome. Forget Rome pastors and preachers. When you in Rome speak about Rome, you in Dominica, you can't speak about Dominica. All you walking it for your head down. Wicked set of people. But just wait. More hardship coming and more hard time coming. And you see when they're not going to get the money, you see when the money in the collection basket start going down, and pastor have to think about whether or not he taking his vehicle to go to church today, or whether or not he can go and pick up people like Rush and Victoria to bring to church. That is when they'll start to talk about the situation that in front of them. And by that time it's too late. And in layman's term at that time, Fomike Jabwe Pisayo, because it's too late. Greedy leaders we have, greedy. We have them in government, we have them in church, and we have them in all aspects of society. All. And the question is why and how did we get to that point? We're living in a society where if it right, it right. If it wrong, it wrong. Why should we choose more wrong and more right? Sin is sin. Seeing is believing, knowing is best. All of all you sin and all of all you know. But none of all you not yet build the courage to flip the table upside down, to turn the table upside down. None of all you not yet get the courage to call a spade a spade. All of all you preaching fornication and adultery. But none of all you can talk about it when a politician do it and use them for example. I ain't saying he without sin cast the first stone, but I just saying you can cast a stone and it can hit a wall and come back and hit you in your face, but you in a position to do it. You put yourself in that position, you choose to be a leader. And if you choose to be a leader and you feel you're in a position but you cannot lead, by all means, do like the chairwoman of the village council and resign. Step down. That is not a position for you. If you can't take the stress, leave. Upon your mother and father inheritance, you just have to stay. You cannot walk away. You cannot leave. What that's so good that they're in that position that you feel like you cannot leave it? Oh, it's because of my constituents. I love them so much I cannot let them down. But you're not doing nothing for them. Oh, because of my family. They're so proud of me. I've made it and can't let them down. But all their neighbors and their friends hungry, your family alone that living good. Or they can be proud now. But when it rains, it pours. It doesn't be just good for one set. It cannot be just good for one set. It cannot be just good for one set. Things tight, tight, tight. Everybody feeling the squeeze. Everybody. And the question is, the people we look up to, how long can we look up to them? And what purpose do we have for looking up to them? And why are they so comfortable in their own space? Why are they so comfortable in their own skin? Why are they so comfortable in their own skin? It's because there's no consequences. So tomorrow, everybody hold back all the collection. No offering in church tomorrow. Tomorrow is no offering collection day. Hashtag no offering. Because it seems like the pastor and priest doesn't see the impact the economy have on all your household. Because he keep getting his 10%. You cannot give 10% to a church when the government tell you cannot work for 3 months and you never get nothing, how you end up giving 10%. Render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And if it's 10% that is his own and you do get 20%, or you can give Caesar 10 now. You have to get your 90% for Caesar to get his 10%. So what we need to do is make the churches feel the pressure that we're feeling at home. You want to tell your husband he cannot take $10 and go and buy guineas in the shop or buy a beer in the shop. But tomorrow morning you're taking $15 to go and put collection in the church. Oh, you can't take the money that day, the little bit of money that day and go and buy guineas in shop and rum in shop. Because I have to buy bread for them children for school tomorrow. But you bring in money offering in church. And you know the kind of a song they singing for you when you come give, and it will come back to you. When you give to the Lord. How does the Lord receive it? In a check, cash app, Venmo? People, there is a God. There is a God. There is a God. I am not denying there is a God. Just keep in mind that the Lord is your shepherd and I shall not want. Yeah? That is your Lord. That is your shepherd. He lead, you follow. But you cannot follow the pastors in the church that are not leading by example. They cannot tell you to do and they're not doing. Corona. I don't know who designed Corona. I don't know who come up with it. I don't know who make it. Once you say Corona, I know what that tastes like. You can blindfold me and give me 10 different beers, and if Corona in the mix, I'll tell you Corona there. I can taste Corona, I can feel Corona, and my senses tell me that Corona are real. Just like I seen a few things in the world, and I cannot tell you how it was made, and I cannot understand it for you, but I can tell you that something puts it there and something design it, and something beyond me, man, beyond man design it. So I do believe that there's something bigger than me. So have faith and show love, and you will achieve a lot more in life than if you stay dormant and walk around like a sheep or a lamb going to the slaughter. If your leaders are not leading and educating you, why are they your leaders? Why are they your leaders? Why do you call them your leaders? Why are you calling the priest in the church father and he's not disciplining you? He's not showing you discipline. You have a bishop that decided to open his mouth and talk about Black Lives Matter in the US and talk about a brother that was killed. Not much people, the police force of Dominica is a serial killer with the police force. The Dominica police force is a serial killer. They're going on their fourth or fifth victim right now. You never hear the bishop talk about that. Bishop, what that's stopping you from voicing your opinion on things like that? Bishop, what that's stopping you from voicing your opinion on giving the citizens of Dominica some economic stimulus package? Is it because you're waiting to fix the cathedral? You're just hoping that that little bit of change you need to fix the cathedral, that you will get it from the politicians? Is that why you're not speaking on them things? You all are wicked people. I was baptized and christened in the Catholic Church. I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, but not the Catholic Church. I believe in the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of sins, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting. But the church is failing. The church is failing, failing. Amen. The church is failing. And it's time for the people in the church to realize and open their eyes that the church is mingled and is in an entanglement with politics. That when it comes to political issues, the church have no backbone. The pastors and priests have no spine, and they have no moral compass guiding them, and therefore they are not to be followed. They are not to be taken seriously. And with that, they have lost respect, and they'll continue to lose respect, and they'll continue to lose members, and they will continue to fail. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Not mine, His. Because they say, hey, though I stand to the door and knock, if anyone hear my voice. So the pastor and the priest do hear and all the knocking, the pastor and the priest do hear and the Dominican people knocking and seeing how things had. So although you hear that, people that doesn't hear will feel. It's not me that say that, pastor. It's not me that say that, priest. The kingdom of God belong to such as this. You know which this? The children, the innocent, the innocent. Because the innocent are the innocent. They don't know, they don't know. But you see, when you know and you're pretending you don't know, that is the most foolish thing you can do as a young man. Sugar has tell them that already, Janet. Everybody have a price. A child in school, a job, a marriage, a top up, a cool out, all of them have a price. So when Sugar tell them, Pastor, take my advice, you not know Jesus Christ. Everybody today have a price. Today we seeing it. We seeing it that every one of them have a price. All of them lack in integrity. If honesty was a bush, religious leaders alone that be drinking it. It would be a bush for religious leaders alone because all of them they're more short and they can't say nothing. So they need to drink some integrity. If it was a herb, I'll make sure all of them get a dose. Because if the church stand up, every church have 20, at least 20 people in it, you know. Or when it have crusade, the whole church going, you know. Or when it have open air, the whole church going, you know, and they still bringing people that don't go in church, you know. Imagine the church tell the people it's time for you to stand up and demand from your leaders what is yours. You know, like Jesus Christ going to the market and he tumbled the table when they were gambling in the church. That is how the church leaders are supposed to be, you know. But no, all of them dormant because why? They are waiting for opportunities. An opportunity does always open, it doesn't close. And once that door doesn't close, you're going to wait for a long time. It don't have no expiry date on that. You're gonna have to wait for a long time. So I call in on our pastors and our priests and our leaders, the so-called community leaders, the hypocritical leaders, the political leaders. Turn from all the wicked ways. And you know them nice speech all you give the people, rally the people, tell the people, you know what? I have no say in parliament. Every bill I presenting it on the behalf of the Prime Minister. I cannot bring no bill for my constituency. I can bring in no bill for my village. Delices people, I cannot give all the Petit Savan Road because the Prime Minister tell me I cannot talk about that. Shut up. The Mygo people, I cannot build the road to Casibros because the Prime Minister tell me shut up with that money for that. And just carry on and all you go with all the constituency. All you win already, you know. Donkey have no right in horse race. No right in horse race. But no, all you there for a dollar. For a dollar. Every time all you move is for a dollar. Every time all you talk is for a dollar. Things tight. Now everybody feeling this squeeze. Everybody feeling this squeeze. Everybody feeling this squeeze. You have pandemic start. People fighting for toilet paper. MLD put a comment and say put a toilet paper around your finger, take your finger, push it in your wipe your bottom with one finger and then wrap it in it and then wash your hands. You'll save toilet paper. That is hard work, Emil. Just tell the people wipe their hands with their wipe their bottom with their hands and wash their hands. Why you want them to use a finger to wipe their bottom? Just use their Muslim only using the left hands to wipe their bottom, you know. That is how it is done in the Islamic State. You use your left hand and then you wash it. But that is not the advice Dominicans want from people like you. Dominicans want advice from people like you on how to develop themselves. Dominicans want advice from people like you to give to the government on how to help people develop themselves. Nasif lose da 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 da. All of a sudden, Nasif want everybody to take vaccine because his sales are low. Business not booming for him. All of a sudden, people decided, you know what? You're too rude. When for people like you to talk, you're not talking. So if you want to say mandatory vaccine, what about mandatory boycott Nasif? All of a sudden, some labor rights, some politician, politically affiliated person come out from under a hole, come out from under a hole like a crab and saying, oh, it's politics. Every time somebody talk is politics. All you can say boycott demand. All you can say boycott demand. Melissa say boycott Suki. How much talk? All who wasn't there, all who did not hear when Melissa say boycott Suki. What did Suki say? When the Prime Minister started, he didn't have a car. He didn't have nothing. Oh, boycott Suki for that. Charles Averin say boycott Jeffrey Brisbane. Boycott Brisbane. What happened? None of all do open all the mouth. None of all do say nothing about that. Or they pretend they didn't hear. Or they pretend like all didn't care. What happened to Brisbane? Brisbane was the #1 place. If you be between the age of 35, between the age of 35 and 27, and you tell me on your field trip, the best part of your field trip as a child going to school wasn't going Brizimat after your field trip, you lie. If you did not go, if you wasn't excited about the thought of going to Brizimat after a field trip, you lie. But all you care so much. Or you not share none of all the business ideas. Which business place, which young business entrepreneur you all have under your wings? Teaching them the ropes, showing them the ropes. If it was a money business, they would not invite nobody. And it's so they is wicked set of people, wicked people. They only like the sun when they need to make hay. They only like the rain when the grass need to grow. Or is I hate the rain, I hate the sun, I hate the rain, I hate the sun, I hate the rain, I hate the sun. What about your neighbor? When you're making hay, your neighbor need to germinate plants to make vegetables. No, bruv, the world doesn't exist among all you, just around all you. The world is a cycle. If it's good for you today, it's gonna be good for me tomorrow, and gonna be good for my neighbor to next day. If it's not going wrong, then my brother, it's going wrong. And it's time people put all you in all your place. It's time people stand up to all you and tell all you what that on their mind. Because Dominicans, they don't have much for it to lose again, you know. They don't have nothing much for Dominicans to lose again. If all you do lose hope yet, all you lose pride. If all you do lose dignity. If all you lose dignity, it do remain enough for you to lose my people. Who know best do best. And there is a total difference between knowing and believing. A lot of all you believe in all you know. And the people that know, all you want to look at them saying they don't believe. But if you believe, my brother, if you believe, you're not sure. And if you know, you don't have to believe. And that is a fact. If you know something, you don't have to believe it. And if you believe it, you don't know. Because it always what it's been about. It always been what it's been about. Greedy people, opportunists, looking to make a name, a claim, a legacy for themselves and themselves alone. And the only reason you and I around the table getting the crumbs is because they need us to hold them up. They need us to hold them up. I look at the Prime Minister of Antigua saying he had to call an office to tell an employee to get off Facebook or get off work because he on government time. But Mr. Prime Minister, on whose time you was when you make that call? The man go on the man Facebook, seeing the man on Facebook Live, calling the man office and telling the man to get off Facebook Live because he on paid time. As the Prime Minister, you telling me you did not know better phone call to make? You mean to tell me you couldn't call the government of India and tell them, you know what? That Indian man they want is an Antiguan citizen and there's no way in hell that he's leaving Antigua and going to India. That would not be a better phone call. But no, you can take government time and go on Facebook and watch to see what on Facebook and then call them and threaten them to come out on Facebook because they're not doing their work. Hypocritical people, hypocrites. Tonight is my night. Mr. Benji left me and left me alone. Tonight is my night, so I vibes in. I talk in the thing. My mother and father will have to pay the consequences. Is it that on the island? My brothers all will have to pay the consequences. Is all that on the island. But as God is my witness, I will do what I can do to help all you brace and absorb the impact. Because I know everything have a price. Everything have consequences. And what we need to do is have more people who are willing to face the consequences and call a shovel, and call a, a because if two people playing donkey, if me and somebody playing donkey, I want to be the head because I know they can be themselves. Right? My people, life could be better in Dominica. We just have to be willing to make it better. And if we're willing to make it better, we can make it better just like that. Boom. So everybody, stay blessed, stay healthy, stay focused, and do what you can to help those who trying to help themselves. Do what you can to help those who trying to help themselves. And usually the ones that are not trying is only because they don't want help. But you cannot help them before they start helping themselves. You cannot send your blood and sweat in vain. That is not how it works. It don't work so. It don't work so. The good book tells you God only help those who help themselves. Right? In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good night, Dominicans. Stay blessed. And tell all your priests, all your pastor, and all your leaders, spiritual leaders especially, that the flock cannot follow the shepherd if the shepherd is leading the flock to the wolves. Bad influence, bad habits, and bad attitudes. Good night, Dominican Dominicans. I love you all. Stay blessed.